Morning, everybody. Is the Denver Police District 3 going to get this right today? So far, so good. You can see where we're at. We're at the CDOT lot at Wesley and Galapago. You know, where there's no trespassing. You know, where I was arrested for failure to obey. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cops out here. 3 cars. Officer Pitsley. I am. Hi, Jordan.
I was actually just
nice guy so far. Okay.
Step up and talk to you?
Yeah, no, that's great.
So I'm going to contact at least the owners of the vehicles that I have got information for to get them moved. They like you said, they do live here.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some of these, or fortunately now that we've found them, are stolen vehicles.
Are stolen.
So we're going to recover what we can. Figure out what's still here, and if I can figure out what's still here, I'll try to get those taken care of as soon as
I see another white trailer that was parked here is not here this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if the fire department should be out here as well to determine, you know, if there's hazardous material in there or what. But
yeah, and that stuff when we impound them, we'll take a look at that, at least for the ones that are stolen or suspected to be stolen.
Right.
So I'll take care of that. I don't see any like propane tanks or anything like that, but if I come across anything like that, yeah, usually we would call.
Yeah, but for something like this, I mean, somebody could be living in that or storing hazardous material, or I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of a concern before you tow that, and the fire department should actually be called to address that. But I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you're doing your job. Thank you very much.
Of course, yeah, I appreciate that you called us, and
good.
At least to my attention, I work on the other side of the district.
Oh, do you?
I'm happy to come
okay, but why so many here? Why is it necessary for five of you to be here?
There's 3 officers, and then we have cadets who are
3 officers and a couple cadets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I brought 1 officer with me just because if I've got stolen cars, it's good to have a friend with you, right? You
right.
don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And the other one just stopped by to show the cadet what we were doing.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
For being so cordial and professional. Can I have your card?
Yes,
please.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Which pocket I put there.
So DPD District 3 is getting it right today. For sure, for sure.
There's me, email, and cell phone. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. We're going to be over here. Just give us a little space to do our work, but
well, of course, I'll give you space to do your work. I'm one little tiny woman on this great big piece of property, so yeah, I'm not going to interfere. And if you think I'm interfering, you tell me, and we'll talk about it.
Appreciate that.
So I can't see anything in this stream because the sun is so bright. I hope it's still going. So again, remember, this is the CDOT lot where District 3 holds a no trespass agreement with the Denver Police Department to enforce all laws on this quote-unquote private property. Wow. A whole street light, huh? Okay then. So he said some of these vehicles are stolen. I don't know which ones. He's obviously ran plates and confirmed, you know, that the people that live here are also using this lot as storage. They have been for quite some time. See, it's kind of interesting. I don't really, you know, have to be in their face if they're doing their job, right? Funny how that works, huh? Look the other way, you dumbass, as you're driving down the alley with a pedestrian standing in front of you. Real smart. Why didn't you just wait for me to pass? He's kind of a little asshole. Yeah, so there were more trailers than this parked over here yesterday. So somebody's probably missing that real expensive dump trailer. Those aren't cheap. There's a car in it. It's probably stolen. The neighbor over here has some graffiti on his garage. Certainly can't blame the homeless. You know, it's all the homeless. It's all their fault. Because look, you know, they're here. There's a toilet. You know, that makes for an interesting conversation piece. I found a post the other day on Facebook in Florida for renting a toilet as a home for $2,000 a month. It's a funny conversation because I said the same thing on this thread that people were discussing how the housing market is essentially, you know, that right there. And that these Floridians were concerned about, you know, people moving into their state and what it was doing to their housing market. Well, what's happening in Florida is the same thing that's happened here. And it's literally like living in a toilet. So it was just kind of an interesting thing. I wonder why he's all masked up. Are you wearing the mask because you want to? Are you wearing the mask because you want to, or because you haven't been vaccinated? Or I thought all that went away.
I wear it because I want to.
You wear it because you want to?
Yeah.
It's hard to identify you with that mask on.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
No, that's not really fine. Because you guys...
If you need to see it.
Actually, can I have your card, please?
Yeah, no problem.
He just activated his body cam.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting that the police don't like it when people are masked up. Because it's hard to identify people, right?
I guess if I'm doing an investigation and I need to see who it is, that can cause some difficulties, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's what I could be doing, and I can't identify you with that mask on.
No, it's below zero, and
It's
guess
below
what?
zero. It's not below zero.
well, it's
I'm out
cold
here in a
enough.
jacket.
I'm a tropical person, so it works for
Are
me.
you from Florida?
No.
No?
Yeah, it works for me, man.
Okay. Thank you, Christopher Baird.
Yep.
Badge number 14044. He's just wearing a mask because he wants to.
You know, I got a pregnant wife at home, and I don't want to bring nothing home from when I'm out working around people.
Understood.
You know, most of these people can't even wash their hands when they get using the restroom. So covering their mouth when they cough and sneeze is another thing, you know? So I cut down on the germs when I'm around people. So I don't take anything home.
Okay. If that's what you believe, that's your thing. I think Denver should re-examine their policies now on police wearing masks since we're out of that. But hey, you know, he's in charge of his own healthcare decisions, so we can respect that, I suppose. That's what I advocate for.
Okay.
I'm gonna just step into the shade right here so I can see my screen. Okay, good. So we're still live and there's commenting. Awesome. Thank you. Keep it up, you guys. So that's good that that graffiti's getting cleaned up. I see Bruce doing it himself. Hey! You can't blame the homeless this time. You can't blame the homeless this time. They're shaking their heads, yes. That neighbor, he's not a huge fan of me in the gray sweatshirt, but hey, that's okay. I've always pretty much been on his side. I don't think that criminal activity is okay. And we agree on that, but we don't agree on what the proper use of being a good neighbor is, or the philosophy on what being a good neighbor is. He thinks that, you know, this should only be for certain use. But hey. And you'll remember some video that I had when the other neighbor right over here came and confronted me about bringing the toilet over here. When they swept the homeless from that side of the river to this side of the river, and the people came over here, so I brought a toilet over here, and I was accused of bringing more people with the toilet when that couldn't be further from the truth. Hey, just so you know, some of this stuff is stolen back here, so if you called, they're responding. I do feel for him, having to live here on the corner with some of the activity that goes on over here. But his son is also a police officer with Littleton. Well, so he says. You remember Littleton. So another cop and a cadet left. So now there's 2 cops and a cadet. And they don't really like these calls because they get stuck out here all day. Because it takes time and process to follow before you can confiscate property. And District 3 was participating in a sweep, the last sweep that I live streamed, and they literally took a camper without a warrant and defended that they followed process and towed it as an automobile junker, except they didn't get a warrant on it. And the first person to enter that structure was none other than Sergeant Reichert from District 3 here. You remember Reichert. Followed by the fire department. And the city attorney stood there and watched it all, and apparently was okay with confiscating that structure without a warrant. I think it's a very slippery slope that they should not be getting into. Wow. Look at that mess on private property. Oh wow. I don't really care. It's private property. You know, do what you want. But I guarantee you, the neighbors have called zoning a million times, or the cops, or blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't really even care about the use of this lot since it is owned by the taxpayers, but if they can't share, no. If they can't share with being conducive on what is a good neighbor or not, then nobody gets to use this lot. Sorry, I expect equal application of the law. So the homeless can't be here, so neither can anyone else. Okay, well, we'll come back and check on this. They're going to be sitting in their cars for a long time because I'm going to have confidence that they're going to follow process. So that was Officer Pitsley that I made initial contact with, and I want to say, I called Denver's non-emergency line today. They answered right away. I wasn't on hold. Told them what was going on and that I wanted officer response out here, police response. And the call taker wanted to argue with me about why they're not going to come out here. I said, nope. And have them call me. Well, it wasn't, but maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, when I got a phone call from Officer Pitsley. He wanted some more information and to understand the situation because he doesn't work over here. And he was incredibly cordial. He wasn't argumentative at all. And he did tell me he would follow up when they came out here, but that's been well over, an hour and a half ago. So I just decided to come out here and live stream because who knows? I mean, who knows? Who knows who may want to arrest me on a particular day? Because if you'll recall, District 3, back in May, is it going to be 3 years ago? The video's on my channel, and it's titled Arrest Me, Go For It. You'll see officers from D3 threatening to arrest me as they were harassing the hell out of some homeless kid down here on this side of the lot. They threatened to arrest me then. They arrested me in here. Not even quite sure for what yet, but that case is making its way. We have a motions hearing on March 4th for that case, and it's set for trial on March 29th. And what's currently being heard on March 4th is a motions hearing for dismissal based on protected First Amendment activity. So that is in Judge Rudolph's courtroom. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be a long day. And I think Rudolph is really not happy with this case being in his courtroom, in that he has to spend a lot of time responding to that motion and having this motions hearing. And that's not the docket he's used to. The docket he's used to is wham, bam, 100 people in and out, taking plea deals for stupid shit like trespassing, disorderly conduct, blah, 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 blah. That's the docket Rudolph is used to. So this case he has to actually work. And I don't think he's real happy about that. But, oh well. It's the just us system. So we're going to see how it works or not. That's how that's going to work. All right, now I can finally see some comments. My eyes are adjusted. So let me get the right glasses on. Rudolph is crooked. Well, he might be, but he's not going to get away with anything. Matt, thank you. I really appreciate that. Good morning from Adelaide, Australia. Matt, that's a long way. 4:20 in the morning over there. Holy smokes. So that cop that had that mask on, I get out of the car, right? I have a jacket on. I don't know what the temperature is. I'm a diehard, native. So I have a jacket on, a little light jacket. I don't need gloves. The sun is shining. We're at high altitude. When the sun shines here in Colorado, it's intense because of our elevation. So he's cold. So he's all masked up with a hat and a coat and yada, yada, yada. And I asked him why he was continuing to wear a mask. And he said that, he has a pregnant wife at home and he don't want to take any germs home. Well, that's cool. That's his healthcare decision. Yeah, I can respect that. But to counter that, the police don't like it when they can't identify people. Okay. And so neither do the citizens. When we can't identify the police, we had this conversation yesterday about the 2 sergeants that came out in masks to the infamous interference video that I made on February 1st. They were the only ones that were wearing masks. Was it a healthcare decision or were they trying to hide? It's a good point of conversation to have. Hey, Alan B., how are you? Yo, MLH, what's happening? Thank you, Eugene. Hanging in there. So, hey, Jedwell, thank you very much for the links. Just us system. What a statement. That's right. It's supposed to be the justice system, justice for all. But we know it's the just us system. So hopefully just us citizens can make it work like it's supposed to. it's not likely that Rudolph is going to rule for dismissal on that case, because honestly, I think he's wildly confused. Because he has an attorney in front of him that is a lot smarter than him, who happens to be the state's best civil rights attorney that we have right now. And he's taken on that case at a municipal level. Andy McNulty doesn't show up to municipal court really at all. And so I'm incredibly thankful and very fortunate to be able to have that representation. And it's a good thing for the right reasons. So smash that like button. All right, well, just watching here, the cops do their job here in District 3 on the CDOT lot where it says, property of Colorado Department of Transportation, no trespassing. None of the homeless can be over here, so neither can anyone else. So it's a shame that the residents here haven't learned how to, share public space. This isn't private property. They have a trespass agreement, and they're doing their job today. I've called numerous times before where they've refused to do their job. Nobody else is using the lot over here, so that's good. There were neighbors using that for their, personal parking lot and storage of their vehicles. I guess I could start coming over here screaming, go get a job. Get a job. Nothing's free. You don't get to use this space, even though you're a taxpayer and you pay out the ass for, in gas taxes, and CDOT has a big chunk of that money. So Officer Pitsley over there is checking the locks on that trailer. And Officer Baird with the mask on. White Wolf, are you new here? I don't think I've seen you commenting in here before. You live in your car and you just want to end it all. Why? I don't think that's probably a very viable option, because it is about survival. Alan B. I'd be a great lawyer. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, like, if I would have started that process 25, 30 years ago. I don't particularly enjoy learning minutia to master a trade or a skill. So it's really not my thing. I want to go straight to the core of the subject and get on with it. No, I couldn't pass the bar. I would never pretend to be one of those. I could not. Maybe after 2 years of being guided on exactly what to study for the bar, I could, but I'm not willing to invest that. Maybe that is District 3's new impound lot, Ellie. Yeah, right? That's a good point. That's a really good point. And remember Remember, we had this conversation yesterday. Colorado and Denver are now #1 in the nation for stolen vehicles, okay? And meanwhile, they're issuing warrants for me for interference. Yeah, whatever. We don't need to start that conversation over. Yeah, thank you, Ellie, for being on that. I really appreciate that. So, that's kind of this story for right now. I have other stories that I have to get to today. So, stay tuned because there's going to be more stories. I'm just kind of watching Officer Pitsley and Officer Baird in there. Well, I think he's a corporal. Yeah, that's Corporal. Yeah, Corporal Baird with the mask on. Yeah, of course, Alan. And remember yesterday I said I needed to stop being so lazy about getting their cards and stuff. So let's just make sure we got this today. Jay Pitsley, badge number 15026. Can you see that? He's the one that initially called me very promptly, was very professional. This is Christopher Baird, badge number 14044, Corporal District 3. He's a field training officer. And he was the one in the mask that told me he is continuing to wear a mask because that's his choice. And he has a pregnant wife at home and doesn't want to take anything home. So, okay. We can respect that he's making his own healthcare decisions. Isn't that interesting that the city can respect that, but not others that make their own healthcare decisions? It's interesting. It's an interesting subject, isn't it? Which, by the way, Denver, the city of Denver, has lifted all of their vaccine mandates and requirements. It's because they can't even get people to work to pick up residential trash. As I said yesterday, the 311 system has had over 8,000 complaints in 3 weeks because people aren't even getting their trash picked up that live in brick and mortar homes. So, but there's plenty of trash getting thrown away by a trash crew that comes out here and targets the homeless. I mean, we've still got that mastered. Interesting, isn't it? So, yeah, 8,000 calls to 311 in 3 weeks for trash complaints. I talked about some arrests down at Union Station, which is downtown Denver. Those that are not familiar with this geographical location, we're in Denver, but we're in the outskirts of downtown Denver, probably about 5 miles out. And it takes about 20 minutes to get downtown, 20 minutes to Union Station from here, where the mayor has concentrated his efforts in cleaning up Union Station. There were 43 arrests in one day this week on Wednesday. Warrants, drugs, blah, blah, blah. I don't trust any of it because you can't trust what Denver is really doing. And 500 arrests at Union Station since the beginning of January. Yeah. So, yes, it is unsavory down there. There are, without a doubt, some things going on down there that shouldn't. A lot of open air drug use. However, we think the response to that is to jail everyone with addiction problems. And I guarantee you right now, that jail is a shit show in there. And they want to put me in there for interference, right? So they're dealing with probably, I'm going to guess, a couple hundred addicts right now in the downtown Denver jail. That is incredibly, a very costly public health crisis endeavor to jail people and treat them for addiction issues in jail. So, but that's worth it to the mayor because he's going to clean up Union Station. So there are a lot of things happening that don't make sense for a return on investment and service to the taxpayer. We'll just leave it at that because We don't have to have a huge philosophical debate on a public health crisis not being the job of government to solve. Why would we want to debate that when taxpayers continue to want to give government more money to solve their social ills? Why would we ever have those discussions? Just keep paying more for the same results. Ellie, District 4 enjoys my company. Well, lucky me. Robert English, hello from Los Angeles. Hey, hey. You know, you got our independent monitor from Colorado, Nick Mitchell, reforming the LA Sheriff's Department and jail. Did you know that? He did a lot of good things here in Denver. White Wolf. Yeah, there's a conversation to be had about the beginnings of World War III and what that means for us. Yeah, scary shit. Gas prices are going to soar. The reset is the plan. Interesting comment, Matt. David Lyle, we have a whole bunch of un-American activities by judges, DAs, and cops. Nothing a few juries couldn't sort out. Comment of the day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody go study jury nullification. An unjust law is worthy of... An unconstitutional law is worthy of... nothing. It is up to the people to solve that crisis. And it's literally a public health crisis. Angel, yes, the discrimination towards the homeless is so inhumane on so many different levels from so many different types and groups of people. You're right. You nailed that one. Okay, still watching. They're just kind of in and out of their cars, checking this stuff out. I don't know. They're probably going to have to wait for some warrants and some tow trucks. This will probably likely be an all-day call. Those poor cadets, they're going to be bored out of their mind. They don't like this kind of stuff. It's really not fun. They're teaching them, these, young people how to be good cops. That's very scary because really what they're teaching them is how to follow orders and ignore your oath. Sorry, but it's the truth. Just doing my job. When I swear upon that oath to uphold the United States Constitution, that's not really what I'm doing. But I'm going to do it anyway. All right, you guys. So I'm going to end this stream. I appreciate all your commentary. I think that's fantastic that we can all have civil discourse about the state of the state and the state of the country. But I stand strong in that. How we treat our weakest, most vulnerable, and sickest defines us as a nation. What we do to our youth, our elderly, our sick and poor is really the crux of how a nation can respond to a crisis. And we're not doing too good. And I don't like what the future looks like for my kids, for my grandkids, for law enforcement, any of it. I don't like it. And if people don't start stepping up and doing the right things, it's just going to get worse. So, right there, Jamie. We are only as strong as our weakest link. Thank you. So, bye, Eugene. All right, you guys, I'm going to head on out because I've got some more things to solve. And I'll go live again. So, we'll see you again later today. Thanks, everybody.